We'll proceed in vector algebra and calculus. What is vector algebra and calculus? Vector, vector algebra, calculus. So this is what we are talking. What is algebra? What is vector? And what is calculus? So vector is nothing but variable numerical signs. If I have a numerical sign, if it is varying, this is what we have seen. Someone would say, can you put something in formula? Whatever you are saying, can you put in formula? That formula typically comes in algebra, where the variables x, y, z, they come into the picture. That is typically algebra. Anyone, if you ask anyone, what do you mean by algebra? Algebra means where there is A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. That is algebra. And what is numerical science? Where there is a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a number. What is calculus? I don't know what is calculus. Calculus is something integration and differentiation. What is a vector? Vector, which is something like I plus j or I minus j or something like that. This is what anyone would say. Now, if I see the algebra, that is variable numerical. If I have variable numerical, or if I want anything to be put in a generic fashion, generically, then we go both for algebra. As I have given example, what is the, if I say that that okay, what is your item? Then my what is the count of your item? Okay, then count of my item is 50. Then you have to give me 5. What is count of your item? There are 5 people standing there, and I am taking everyone some share. So if someone is saying I have 50, then you have to give me 5. If someone is saying I have 100, then you have to give me 10. Now, rather than that, I wrote in a book on a board that what whoever is standing here, they have to give they have to give x by 10. This is algebra. X by 10 means x means whatever you have, give me by 10. If 5 people are standing, 10 people are standing, 1000 people are standing, and they want to give something to me, then okay, in that sense, x by 10 you have to give. Whoever containing whatever item by 10, that much he needs to share. So this comes as algebra. What is demerit of algebra? What is shortcoming of the algebra? What is shortcoming of the algebra? Shortcoming of the algebra, quickly we will see. What is calculus? Numerical science is if 5 people are standing, they are carrying some item with them and they want to share that item with me. One is saying, I have 50 items. Then I am saying, you have to give me 5, 50 by 10, 5. Another is carrying 100 items. Then I am saying, you have to give me 10 to me. Another one is carrying 70, 70, 70, 80 items. Then I say, you have to give me 8 out of it. Now, if there are 1000 people standing and everywhere I am asking how many you have and this much you have to give, that is cumbersome, time consuming, and energy driven. More energy is required. Now, I am just saying whoever containing whatever item is, you have to give x by 10. X by 10. This is algebra. When numerical, numerical becomes a variable, this is algebra. Algebra sits on top of numerical signs. Someone would say that algebra special case is numeric. If I have algebra, variable, then its special case is numeric. Numeric is a special case of an algebra. What do you mean? What I mean is if someone has algebra, then a particular value of that variable is one set of numeric. Like what is the your equation? Sine x. Sine x is the equation. If sine x is the equation, then what is sine 45? Okay, what sine 45? This is one sample of the algebra. Algebra special case is numerical science. Anyway, we will talk more on it. Now, question is arising that what is calculus? Calculus works on algebra and it talks about change in algebra per unit change in algebra. Oop, oop, oop. This is calculus. Calculus, like if five people are standing and they have items in their hand, they want to share with me. They want to share it with me. Now I have written that they have to share x by 10. They have to share x by 10 or x into 1 by 10 or x into 0.01 x into zero point 0.1 they have to share x into zero point 0.1 or government is taking tax. I am a tax collector. Consider I am a tax collector and people are standing, they want to give tax. Now rather than saying that asking everyone about their income and then into zero point 0.1, I just written on the board x into zero point 0.1. This much I need to give. Now there are two entity. Can you see it? There is one entity called x. Every person is x. Every person is x, and whatever tax he is giving, that is y. Another entity. X means how much item they keep. This is one thing. Another thing is how much they should give. These are two things. So, if we talk about calculus, then there are two components. One component is called independent component and one is called dependent component. If person is carrying X number of money, X number of item, he has to give X into 0.1. Okay, if I draw a graph, x-axis, y-axis, x-axis, y-axis. Okay, if that is the case, x-axis, y-axis. Now, along x-axis, I have 1000 people. Their income is from 10 to 10,000. 10 to 10,000. Now, person whose income is 10, person whose income is 10, now he has to give me 1. Person whose income is 100, he has to give me 10. Person whose income is 1000, he has to give 100. Person income is 10,000, he has to give me 1000. This is what it is. Now, what is the net tax collection? What is net tax collection? Okay, if at every income one person is standing, that is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, up to 10,000, one person is standing, then what is the net income the government is making? Being being a tax collector, how much the government is making the income? Now every height someone has to add. Okay, consider that everyone is giving 10 rupees irrespective of their income. One has income 10, 10 to 10,000, everyone is giving 10. Everyone is giving 1 rupee, 1 rupee, $1, 1 rupee, 1 franc, 1 ruble, whatever it is. 1. Now, what is the total income the government is making? That is 10. This is x-axis, that is the income. People have income 10, 10, and another person has income 11, 12, 13, 14, like that. Income is still 10,000. Everyone is giving 1 rupee. Then 1 is the height and here. So what is the two component? One is X, that is the income. That is the total net income of every person. Okay, this is what I am talking. If this is x-axis and this is 10, this is origin. This is 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 10,000. Okay, 10,000. How many people are there? Okay, I believe it will be 10,000. 10, it will be 10,000 minus 10 plus 1. Those many people are there. This is what I believe so. Okay, in that sense, everyone has set of income. Now asking everyone has to give 1 rupee. 1 rupee means it is a flat line. Okay, how much is the collection? That is the area underneath it. Very simple, right? So 1 into 10,000 minus 10 plus 1. That is the net area. That much is the total income. Now everyone has to give 1.1%. Now the 10 rupee earning person will give 1 rupee. 10,000 earning person will give 1,000. If I see the net collection, the graph will be like this. Okay, where the collection with the higher earning people is more. In that sense, what is the net income? Again, area. Again, area. So, it is a kind of line. The income is kind of a line. Line equation is 0.1x. 0.1x. Okay, 0.1x is the income. Now, whatever the area underneath is the net income. It will be triangular. So, 0.1x, 0.1, I believe, x square by 2. Limit is from 10 to 10,000. Okay, that is the net income. If I say everyone has to give 1, then it is, now the equation is 1. Integration of 1 is x. X is 10,000 minus 10 plus 1. That much is the income. Okay, now consider that the tax collection is, now it is x square. Okay, x square, I believe I have talked about it. X square by 0.0, x square by x square into 0.01. Now person who has 10 rupee income, 10 into 10 is 100. 0.01 into x square. So 100 into 0.01. He has to give still 1 rupee only. But person who has income 100, the 100 into 100 is 10,000. 10,000 into zero point 0.1 is 1000. Okay, into again 0.1, I believe it becomes 100 again. Okay, okay, I would do something. So a person income is 10 rupee. I am asking whatever your income is, x square, x square divided by 100 you have to give. If income is 10, he has to give 1 rupee. If income is 100, then 100 into 100 by 100, he has to give 100 rupees. So this is not possible. I mean, this is non-linear. So rather than that, now I would say it is x square by 0.00001. This is what someone has to give. Now it is better. A person who is earning 100 rupees, 100 into 100, that is 10,000 by 10,000. 1 rupee he has to give. Person who is earning 10,000, 10,000 into 10,000 by 10,000, 10,000 he has to give, whatever. Someone has to go with the non-linear, the way government declares, right? Means in this income slab, this is the tax collection. In this income slab, this is the tax collection. In this income slab, this is the tax collection. If that is the case, then someone can draw out what is independent component, what is dependent component. Independent component is everyone is earning how much. Dependent component is how much tax he is paying. So dependent component is called function over independent component. This is calculus. Calculus means we have to find two items, minimum two items. One is independent and one is dependent. If I am saying people that your income is independent, certainly their income is independent, they are earning. Okay, but government is dependent upon the people, right? Government is dependent upon the people's income. The government income is dependent upon the people's income. The government is called dependent upon the people. In society also, in country also, government is dependent upon the people. People are independent to the government. Now, if whatever the earning people are making, that is called x-axis. Whatever the tax government is collecting, that is called y-axis. That is dependent. What is dependent? What is the tax collection? Someone would say 30% of the income. 30% of the income. In this slab, 10% of the income. In this slab, 20% of the income. In this slab, 30% of the income. Okay, so in this slab, 10% of the income. So 10% is Y. If I draw a graph of the income and money that is extracted from the people, then it is 10% of the income. If income is growing, then net collection is also growing as per the 10%. In another slab, if income is growing, okay, then it is 30%, 20%, 30%. It is like it will little up and slope will be more, I believe so. Okay, slope will be okay, slope will be little more. 30% means 0.3x. If I did do dy by ds, it will be 0.3. Slope will be higher, less. So this is calculus. Calculus talks about algebra, but it points towards the independent component and dependent component. What is integral calculus? Integral calculus is how much is the net collection. If I calculate the area, it gives me net collection. If tax is being collected from every person, and if I draw a graph, and this graph has x-axis as per the people's income, and this is how much people have to pay as per the income. Okay, if income is 100 rupees, 101 rupee, like that, how much they need to pay. This is the height, is the net tax they have to give. If I if okay, if I calculate the area, the net tax collected I can calculate. Okay, provided distribution is everywhere, one person is standing there. Okay, in each slab, person is standing there. Then area will be the net income. If I have the income, if I have the income graph, if I have the if I have the income, then at any x, what is the actual tax collection? So d income by dx is the tax collection for that person. Like if my income is, if I am asking every person to give 1 rupee, every person to give 1 rupee, there are x people. The net income is 1 into x. If net income is 1 into x, then how every person is charged? 1 into x, x by dx, 1 rupee is charged from every person. Now, if every person is charged 0.1x, whatever their x is 0.1x, what is the net collection? 0.1 x square by 2. How much every person is charged? 0.1 x square by 2 by dx, that is 0.1 x. So this is calculus. Calculus means I have independent component and I have dependent component. And then if I want net collection from the dependent component, if I draw the area, that is integration, then I get net collection. If I have net collection, from net collection, if I want to see what is the rate of collection at any moment, then d collection by dx. If I know rate of collection, integration is the net collection. Okay, like I say, a person is walking. A person is walking. And person is walking in a sense that he started from origin, and he is walking at the first hour, he is at 5 kilometers from the origin. Second hour, he is 10 kilometers. Third hour, he is 15 kilometers. Okay, so if I draw the distance and time graph, it will be like this. The distance from the origin is growing at any moment. At what distance he is? Okay, if that is the case, then how much distance he traveled? How much distance he is traveling? Okay, to find out how much distance he is traveling, okay, we will first see that what is his speed, how much distance he is covering per hour. Okay, so if someone is finding any anomaly in the tax collection as far as area, and then here it will be more clear. So if person distance, If person distance at any moment is this much, any moment of the time is this much from the origin. Person distance this much from the origin. Okay, if that is the case, then how much distance he traveled at any time x? If that is the case, any time x, then we have to draw a graph. That graph will talk about every hour what is the collection. Every hour what is the collection. So this is 1 hour, this is 1 hour to 2 hours, this is 2 hour to 3 hours, this is 3 hour to x hour. This is the time slot. Every hour he is collecting 5 kilometers. So he is collecting every hour 5 kilometers. So if I draw the graph of collection every hour, this is the net collection from the origin. At the end of third hour, at the end of fourth hour, at the end of x hour, this is the distance from the origin he is at. Okay, if I draw the graph of every hour, what is his collection? Then every hour his collection is constant. Every hour, if this is 5, means every hour he is collecting 5 kilometers. Every hour he is collecting 5 kilometers. If number of hour is infinite, means too many hours, 0 to 10,000 hours. But he is collecting every hour 5 kilometers. If that is the case, the end of x hour, how much is the net collection? Then x into height. What is the area? What is the area underneath it? That is the net collection. So 5 into x is the net collection of that person. Okay. So that is calculus. What is dependent here? What is independent here? Independent is the time. Time is never dependent upon anyone in general life also. Time is always passing. It doesn't care who is caring for the time or not. So time is independent component. In each span of time, how many kilometers he is traveling. If that is called rate of the collection. If I have rate of the collection graph, then if I calculate the area underneath, it gives the net collection. It gives the net collection. If tax collection example is little bit anomalous, not very favorable, this example would be more favorable in calculus. So if I have rate of collection, then area gives the net collection. If I have net collection, the net collection means at 1 hour this much kilometer he walked, at this hour this much kilometer he walked, at this hour this much kilometer he walked. Then what is the rate of the collection per hour? That is differentiation. Okay. Now, actually, we are trying to cover vector. So, what is the numerical sign? Pure numeric value is the numerical sign. What is algebra? If there is some certain variation I am seeing in the numerical sign, I can represent it through variable. That is algebra. What is calculus? Calculus is nothing but if I have net collection, then what is rate of collection? If I have rate of collection, then what is the net collection? But these two are defined with dependent component and independent component. In algebra, only which variable is independent and which variable is independent. Which variable is independent and which variable is dependent. Like if someone is walking per hour, he is collecting 5 kilometers. Every hour he is walking 5 kilometers. Okay, hour is independent, time is independent. Person is walking, looking at the time every time, so he is dependent upon the time. Someone would say person is walking in a sense that first hour he is collecting 1 kilometer, second hour he is collecting 2 kilometers, third hour he is collecting 3 kilometers. Anyone would say that the net kilometer he is collecting is dependent upon the time. Fourth hour he is collecting 4 kilometers. So net collection per hour is dependent upon the time, that is x. If if time is 5 hour, 4 hour to 5 hour, in that span he is collecting 5 kilometers. So the collection in every span of the time is like this graph. Every span of the time, not like this exactly. It will be a staircase graph. one staircase, then up, one staircase, then up, one staircase, then up, one staircase, then up. Because every duration of the hour, distance traveled is different. How much distance it traveled? Just calculate the area underneath. That is the distance traveled. That is integration. What is the rate of collection? Whatever the integration is, if you differentiate, then it will become rate of collection. This is integration differentiation as far as calculus is concerned. What is vector? What is vector? Okay, now consider that there is a semicircle. This is a semicircle. If this is a semicircle, then this is x-axis. If this is semicircle, then this is x-axis. Okay, if this is x-axis, I'm not talking about, or let's make really a semicircle. People must understand that in what layer they are working. Mathematics is a layered approach. If they are in numerical science, then they are working at the lowest level. If they are working in algebra, then they are working at one layer higher. Algebra can be in Cartesian coordinate, polar coordinate, and algebra can be in cylindrical coordinate, spherical coordinate. If they are working with calculus, then they are working one layer up because now they are differentiating dependent and independence in the algebra. If they are working in vector, if this is numerical science, this is algebra, then this is calculus, one layer up. This is vector in other direction. Okay, above calculus is not vector. Above algebra vector is there, above algebra calculus is there. If I do anything in vector and I want calculus on top of it, I have to bring back into algebra, then only calculus will work on it. Calculus works only on algebra, not on vector. Then what is the vector? Let's see, this is a circle. Now, this is x-axis. I am talking about upper half of the circle, not the bottom half of the circle. Upper half of the circle. Upper half of the circle. Now, this is origin. Hop, hop, hop. This is origin. This is origin. This is 1. This is 2. Means the circle has radius as 1. This is origin. This is 1. This is 2. Now, person is walking. Person is walking. Okay, person is walking. If person is walking, then if person is walking, then at one time here at the origin, the kind of his speed, the person's speed is 0 kilometer because it is touching it, right? 0 kilometer per hour. Now, as the time is growing, person's speed is growing. When time is 1, the person's speed is this height, that is 1. When time is 2, person speed is 0. Means person is walking faster till it reaches its maximum speed. Then person is reducing his speed and then at this time he is coming at rest. Beyond that there is no graph. Or if I say this is velocity time graph. If I talk about that, what is the distance time graph? At origin person has at no distance. Now person is walking. Person is walking. So at this time moment, person is at this much distance from the origin. Distance time graph. At this point, person is at maximum distance from the origin. Now person is distance is reducing. Can you see? And at this time, person distance is 0. How come it can be like this? If I talk about velocity time graph, then velocity is increasing. Velocity is maximum. Velocity is decreasing. How much that person has covered the distance with this kind of velocity? One question is that this. Another question is, if this is distance time graph, now person distance is growing as the time is growing from the origin. This is the net distance. Now here person is at maximum distance. Now distance is coming low. What is meaning of low? Low means person is coming back. If distance is reducing from the origin, then person is coming back. Now time is 2, person came back to the same position. Both things are different. One is velocity is growing, then he is accelerating. Velocity is growing means he is accelerating. And then maximum acceleration and then he decelerating. And here velocity is 0. If velocity is 0, then there is no velocity. Okay, there is no velocity. He came at rest, but he traveled a distance. What is the distance he traveled when he is walking like this, when this is the distance graph? What is the distance he covered when velocity is like this? These are two questions. Anyway, now what is the fundamental of vector out here? If I ask someone, okay, how much distance he has covered? Distance he has covered is the, if someone say how much distance he has covered, then I have to find distance covered, the distance anyone has covered. The distance anyone has covered is nothing but velocity. If I draw a velocity graph, divide the velocity graph, and if I calculate the area, then it gives the net distance person has traveled. If I draw a velocity graph, then it gives the net distance person has traveled. Makes sense, right? If I have a time distance graph and total distance, if I calculate this area, if this is time and this is distance, if I calculate this area, then it won't give anything what I want. But if this is the if this is the distance graph, what is the distance graph? If I have a circle, what is the equation of the circle? Circle equation is x square plus y square equal to a square. Y equal to square root of a square minus x square. Here, this is displayed the origin, but that equation is when origin is when it is centered at the origin. Okay, let's consider it is centered at the origin. It will be easy. Now it is centered at the origin. Okay, then at this time, that is minus a time, that the distance traveled was 0. Now when at 0 time, distance travel is maximum, and now at time a, distance traveled is 0, means he came back. Now how much distance he traveled? Okay, everyone knows how much distance he traveled. He went and he came back. How much distance he traveled? But anyway, now y equal to square root of a square minus x square. What is dy by dx? That is the velocity, right? Dy by dx is minus x by square root of a square minus x square. Dy by dx is minus x by square root of a square minus x square. Okay, if that is the case, if I know dy by dx, then integration with the x, it will give same square root of a square minus x square. If that is the case, then minus a to a. Okay, now minus a to a, how much he has traveled? Minus a 0 to 0. He did not travel anything. He did not travel anything. Okay, if you are saying like this, then what about 0? What about 0 to a? How much he has traveled? Then the square root of a square minus x square, if that is the integration, when a is 0, then it is a. And when x is 0, it is a. When x is a, it is 0. He traveled a kilometer. If at origin height is a, okay, and then he is coming back, height, everyone would ask how come it can be, the height is a, then how he has traveled, because area and something like that. Just think that a person at origin, at beginning time, he at distance a, and when time is growing, his distance is decreasing from the origin, means he is coming back. At time A, he is actually at the origin, at the location, means he traveled a kilometer. Okay, if I want to calculate the net travel, first I calculate the velocity graph. Velocity, if y equal to square root of a square minus x square, velocity is minus x by square root of a square minus x square. This velocity I have to integrate with this velocity graph, whatever velocity graph is. That is not this graph, another graph. That graph, whatever it comes, Consider that graph is like, like this. Okay, if this point is origin, graph is something like this. Then this point to A point, whatever the area is, that is the distance he has traveled. Then minus x by square root of a square minus x square, integration will be same as square root of a square minus x square. What is the distance he has traveled? Then whatever is minus x by square root of a square minus x square dx from 0 to a, that much distance he traveled. If that is the case, the integration is again a square root of a square minus x square 0 to a. 0 means a means 0 as per the integration. He traveled a distance because he came back simply. This is way of manipulating algebra through calculus. If he is now, if it is centered at the origin and this talks about velocity, then how much distance he traveled from minus a to a or from origin to a? If this talks about velocity, velocity is how much? Y equal to the square root of a square minus x square. Then if this is the velocity, then distance traveled is the area. Dy by dx is the velocity, then integration would be displacement. If I have displacement, then d displacement by dx would be velocity. If I have velocity, integration will be displacement. So if velocity is the square root of a square minus x square, then what is the distance it traveled from 0 to a if it is centered at the origin? Then what is integration of a square root of a square minus x square? That is under question mark. I believe integration of a square root of a square minus x square, I also don't know. Let's consider x equal to a cos theta. Then it becomes a sin theta. And now that becomes minus a sin theta d theta. Minus a I can take outside sin square theta. Integration of sin square theta is theta by 2 minus sin 2 theta by sin 2 theta by 4. This is polar coordinate. Polar coordinate, I won't go much detail. Polar coordinate means from we want from here to here. If I see the polar coordinate system, this is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. 90 degree to 0 degree. This is what we want. Okay, or 0 degree to 90 degree, whatever is feasible. That is the case 0 to pi by 2. Now here it is theta by 2 by minus sin 2 theta by 4. Sin pi, now if I substitute pi here, then it is pi by 2 sin 2 pi by 2 into pi by 2, that is 0. Again lower limit is 0, that is again 0. So it is now pi by 2. So pi by 2 into a square. Pi a square by 2. Okay, pi a square by 2 that he has traveled. Something like that. Okay, but it is not true, I believe so, because full area is pi r square. If I am talking about this much area, if I am talking, oh, it is actually right. Okay, so the idea is we are integrating minus a square sine square theta d theta. Minus a square I keep outside, sine square theta integration is theta by 2 minus sine 2 theta by 4. Now theta is 0 to pi by 2 or pi by 2 to 0. 0 means all 0. Pi by 2 means minus theta by 2 minus pi by 4. Other is 0. Minus pi by 4 minus plus pi a square by 4. Actually right. So if this is the one quadrant of a circle, then area is pi by 4, pi a square by 4. So he traveled this much. Now this is the calculus. Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me what is the length of this arc? This is vector. No one in the world through algebra and calculus can tell me the length of this is x-axis, this is y-axis. This is one quadrant of the circle. This is second quadrant of the circle, third quadrant of the fourth quadrant of circuit. First quadrant, what is the length of the arc? Can someone tell me? Okay, this is x-axis and this is y-axis. Equation is x square. What is the length of the arc from point x equal to 1 to point x equal to 10? Length of the arc. If I calculate integration, then it gives me the net area. If I have area graph, if I calculate differentiation, then it gives me this graph back. Okay, if I calculate differentiation of this graph, it tells me how much this graph is changing at any moment. At any moment dy by dx, if any moment x, if I make 1 unit of increment in x, then how many unit of increment I see in y, that is dy by dx. D integration, this is differentiation. Integration means if I say x equal to 1 and x equal to 10, what is the area underneath it? It will give, that is x square integration x to the power 3 by 3. X is from 1 to 10. What is the area underneath? It will give. If I talk about differentiation at any moment, what is the change in y I see when there is 1 unit change along x? Y is increasing, right? If x is 1, y is 1. If x is 2, y is 4. Means every 1 unit change, this 1 unit can be big here, it is big here, but whatever it, if 1 unit is changing, there is 4 unit change in y is happening at moment when x equal to 1. If x equal to 9, then y is 81. But x is 10, then y is 100. When x is 9, at that moment dy by dx is 19. When x is 1, then dy by dx is 3. Can you see the change in y with change in 1 unit of x? This is what differentiation would give. Integration is how much is the area underneath it. This is what differentiation talks about. Integration talks about. What is the length of this arc from point x equal to 1 to point x equal to 10? Can someone tell me? Not possible. Okay. So linear science, numerical science, algebraic science. Now you can convert to any coordinate system. Not possible. Not possible at all. So numerical science, algebraic science, calculus science cannot give me the line length of a line. Not possible. If that is the case, then who will give me length of the line? Then it is vector technology that comes into the picture. What is vector technology? Why we are not able to get the line? Why we are not able to get the line? Because everything is different. Here x-axis is different and y-axis is different. This is what algebra is. It tackles one thing at a time. But I want both things. If I want length of the line, everywhere both components are together. If this is x component and this is y component, then here both components are mixed. Here both components are mixed. Both components are mixed. Both components all together everywhere x, y are mixed. This is how line is formed. How line is formed? Line is not formed because of y only. Line is not formed because of x only. Line is formed because of x comma y. If two power, one power is x axis, one power is y axis, if these two power combine together, then only we get a line. Is there any science which talks about two power in one go? That is vector. Vector talks about combination of powers, that is vector. So if I talk about any point here, if that point is x comma y, then there is a position vector from the origin, that is xi plus yj. Vector is xi plus yj. This vector has both power, x power and y power. So please support us. These fundamentals, certainly it is not available in any of the book or internet wherever. So +91 is the India country code. 9483160610 is the telephone number. 9483160610 is the telephone number. +91 the India country code. If I want to do any manipulation on the curve itself, then I have to think about any technology which give the power of both x point and y point. Algebra gives power of only one point. It gives both points but separately. One is independent component, one is dependent component. Independent, dependent. X-axis is independent, y-axis is dependent, but they are separately tackled. But vector talks about what is the vector equation of any point x comma y if there is a line passing from origin, that is called position vector, xi plus yj. It has both energy component. One energy component is x-axis, one energy component is y-axis. Then vector has both of the power. If it has both of the power, actually it talks about all the points which has both things x and y. If I place more information, if I do more manipulation of it, vector can give me the length of the line because it has both components. So if I talk about algebra or calculus, either it talks about x-axis or it talks about y-axis. If I xyz, then z-axis, that much only. But vector keeps everything together, xi plus yj plus zk. This is highly valuable in artificial intelligence of scenario where someone has to carry all the information in one go. And at that moment, what is the change of information we see more on it. Okay, so we will see more on this vector. Slowly, this is what I would say.